The package arrived in a sleek black box with gold lettering, Chen Luxury Goods. My hands trembled as I opened it, revealing the Italian leather wallet I'd ordered. Buttery soft, hand-stitched, perfect. Exactly what I'd wanted for my 75th birthday. Then I saw the handwritten note tucked inside. Dear valued customer, thank you for your purchase. Every item we sell is crafted with love and dedication. Michael Chen, founder, CEO. Michael Chen, my grandson. The failure I'd slammed the door on 5 years ago. The wallet slipped from my fingers, landing on my marble floor with a soft thud. How had I not known? How had I ordered from his company without realizing it? The website had been recommended by my country club friends. The best luxury goods online, darling. Simply exquisite. And now I was staring at a business card with his face on it. Older, more mature, wearing a suit that probably cost more than the beat-up Honda he'd driven when I last saw him. When I'd called him a disappointment. When I'd told him he was dead to me. The irony tasted like ash in my mouth. The grandson I'd rejected for being a retail worker had built an empire, and I'd just handed him $500 without knowing it. Michael was supposed to be my legacy. My only grandson, the one who'd carry the Chen name forward with honor and distinction. His father, my son, had been a renowned surgeon. His mother, a federal judge. Excellence ran in our blood, or so I believed. I'd built Chen Industries from nothing, turning a small import business into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Every Chen before Michael had understood the weight of our name. We were leaders, innovators, titans of industry, not retail workers. When Michael was young, he'd shadow me everywhere. "Grandpa, can I help with the inventory?" he'd ask, his small hands eager to sort through shipment manifests. I'd ruffle his hair and tell him, "Someday this will all be yours, but first you must prove yourself worthy." He'd been brilliant in school, not top of his class, but solid, good enough for a respectable business degree from a state university. I'd already mapped out his path: MBA from Wharton, 5 years at a Fortune 500 company, then returned to take over Chen Industries. It was perfect, inevitable. But Michael had other ideas. "Grandpa, I got a job," he'd announced at his college graduation dinner, beaming with pride. The entire family had gathered at the Ritz-Carlton, 50 of our closest relatives and business associates. "Excellent," I'd said, raising my champagne glass. "Which firm? Goldman Sachs? McKinsey?" "Actually, it's at Nordstrom, in their management training program. I'll be learning retail from the ground up, starting on the sales floor." The champagne turned to vinegar in my mouth. "Retail? You mean selling clothes?" "It's more than that, Grandpa. It's about understanding customers, building relationships, creating experiences. It's beneath you," I'd cut him off, my voice sharp enough to silence the entire table. "Chens don't work retail. We own retail. We don't serve customers. They serve us." His face had fallen, but he'd tried again. "It's just a starting point. I want to learn the business before..." "Before what?" "Before you embarrass this family further." I'd stood, throwing my napkin on the table. "Your father saves lives. Your mother upholds justice. And you want to fold sweaters?" "Grandpa, please." "You're a disappointment, Michael. A complete and utter disappointment." I'd left the dinner early, letting my words hang in the air like a curse. That should have been the end of it. He should have come to his senses, quit that ridiculous job and begged for my forgiveness. Instead, he doubled down. For 2 years, Michael tried to maintain our relationship despite my disapproval. He'd call every Sunday, his voice cheerful as he updated me on his progress. "I got promoted to department manager, Grandpa, youngest in the company's history." "Congratulations on being the best of the worst," I'd reply, my tone arctic. "I'm learning so much about supply chain, customer psychology, brand building." "You're learning how to be a servant, nothing more." Each call became more strained. I'd hear the hurt in his voice, but my pride was a wall too thick to penetrate. How could he not see what he was throwing away? The Chen legacy, built over generations, reduced to retail work. My son Robert tried to mediate. "Dad, he's happy. He's working hard. Isn't that what matters?" "Happy doesn't build empires," I'd snap. "Happy doesn't maintain legacies. He's spitting on everything I've built. He's finding his own way. His way is wrong." The breaking point came during Chinese New Year, 3 years after his graduation. Michael had been promoted again, store manager now, the youngest in the region. He'd arrived at my estate wearing a nice suit, carrying gifts for everyone. "Grandpa," he'd said, approaching me in my study, "I have something to tell you." "Unless it's that you've quit that ridiculous job, I don't want to hear it. I'm starting my own business." He'd pulled out a folder, hands shaking with excitement. "Online luxury retail. I've saved enough for initial inventory, built relationships with suppliers. I've learned so much these past 3 years." "Online retail?" I'd laughed, the sound bitter and mocking. "So now you want to fail on the internet instead of in person?" "Grandpa, e-commerce is the future. I've done the research, written a business plan." "A business plan? You think 3 years of folding shirts qualifies you to run a business? You think you can compete with real entrepreneurs because you can work a cash register?" His face had flushed. "Why can't you just support me? Why is nothing I do good enough?" "Because you're capable of so much more." I'd slam my hand on the desk. "You have the Chen blood, the Chen name, and you waste it on retail. Online retail. What's next, Michael? A food truck? A lawn mowing service? At least I'm trying to build something. You're building nothing. You're playing entrepreneur like a child plays house, and when you fail, which you will, don't come crying to me." He'd stood there for a long moment, his jaw clenched. Then, quietly, "I won't fail, Grandpa. And when I succeed, I hope you'll be proud of me." "Proud? I'm ashamed to call you my grandson. You're an embarrassment to the Chen name." The words hung between us like a blade. Michael had carefully placed the folder on my desk, his business plan, I realized later, and walked out. That was the last time I'd seen him in person. Before we continue to the most dramatic part of this story, I have a quick request. We're working toward our dream of reaching 1,000 subscribers, and we can't do it without your support. Please take a moment to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Here's a question for you. Have you ever been dismissed or underestimated by family because of your career choice? How did you prove them wrong? And please, don't miss the shocking turning point coming next. What happens when pride meets reality? Let's get back to the story. 2 years passed after that Chinese New Year confrontation. Michael stopped calling, stopped visiting. Family gatherings became awkward affairs where his empty chair spoke louder than any conversation. "He's doing well," Robert would mention carefully. "His business is growing." "I don't want to hear a bee. Out it," I'd cut him off. He made his choice. But the universe has a cruel sense of humor. Last month at my country club, the conversation turned to online shopping, a topic I usually tuned out. "Have you tried Chen luxury goods?" Margaret Whitmore gushed. "Their leather goods are simply divine. Better than Hermes, if you ask me." "Chen?" I'd perked up despite myself. That's my name." "Oh, what a coincidence. Though I doubt it's related. This is a young entrepreneur. Brilliant boy. Started from nothing, they say. Worked retail to learn the business from the ground up. Can you imagine? Such dedication." My blood had run cold. What's the website?" She'd pulled out her phone, showing me a sleek professional site. Premium leather goods, watches, accessories. The kind of quality I'd built my own business on. And there in the About Us section was Michael's face. "From our founder," the text read. "I believe luxury isn't just about price tags. It's about craftsmanship, story, and the human connections we build. Every piece we sell represents not just quality, but the dreams of artisans and the trust of our customers. I learned this not in a boardroom, but on the retail floor, serving customers one at a time. My hands had trembled as I scrolled through the site. Awards, features in Forbes, Vogue, Business Insider. 30 under 30 entrepreneur to watch. The future of luxury e-commerce. From retail worker to CEO, the Michael Chen story. I simply must show you the wallet I ordered, Margaret continued, oblivious to my distress. The quality is extraordinary, and they say he personally writes thank you notes to customers. Such a personal touch in this digital age. I'd excused myself, rushing to the bathroom where I'd vomited into the pristine marble sink. My grandson, the failure, the disappointment, the retail worker, had built exactly what I'd said he couldn't, and everyone knew about ours, but except me. That night, I'd gone home and done something I'd sworn I'd never do. I researched Michael's company. Annual revenue in the millions, partnerships with Italian craftsmen, a waiting list for certain products, customer reviews that read like love letters. And then I'd found the interview. Forbes last year. The journalist had asked about his inspiration. My grandfather taught me about quality and craftsmanship, Michael had said. He built his own import business from nothing. But the most important lesson I learned was from my time in retail, that business isn't about being above your customers, but serving them. Every person who walks through your door or visits your site is trusting you. That's a responsibility I take seriously. He'd mentioned me. Even after everything, he'd mentioned me with respect. My pride crumbled. I'd ordered the wallet that night, telling myself I was just checking the quality, just seeing if the hype was real. I'd used a different name, a different credit card, Patricia Chen, my late wife's name. He'd never know. But now I was holding his handwritten note, and the weight of my mistakes was crushing me. I couldn't sleep for weeks after receiving that wallet. It sat on my dresser, accusatory in its perfection. Every stitch seemed to whisper, "You were wrong. You were wrong. You were wrong." I started seeing Michael everywhere. In business magazines, at my doctor's office, in conversations at the club, in the proud way other grandparents talked about their entrepreneurial grandchildren. The Chen name was being honored, just not in the way I'd demanded. "Did you see the Chen luxury feature in the Times?" my lawyer mentioned during a meeting. Brilliant business model. The founder worked retail to understand customer service, then applied those lessons to luxury e-commerce. Genius, really? "Yes," I'd muttered. "Genius." I tried reaching out once. I'd dialed his number, unchanged after all these years, but hung up before it rang. What would I say? "I'm sorry I called you a failure while you were building an empire. Congratulations on proving me wrong. Please forgive a foolish old man." The words wouldn't come. Pride, even wounded pride, is a hard habit to break. Then came the reunion invitation. It arrived in another black and gold envelope addressed in Michael's handwriting. Inside, an invitation to Chen Luxury Goods' 5th anniversary gala. A handwritten note was attached. "Grandpa, I know we haven't spoken in years, but I wanted you to know you're invited. This company exists because of the lessons you taught me, even the hard ones. I hope you'll come. Michael." I'd stared at that invitation for hours. He was reaching out. After everything, he was still reaching out. All I had to do was show up, swallow my pride, and show up. The night of the gala, I'd dressed in my best suit. I'd driven to the venue, a beautiful historic building downtown. I'd sat in the parking lot for 45 minutes, watching successful-looking people stream inside. Young entrepreneurs, established business leaders, media personalities, all there to celebrate my grandson's success. I couldn't do it. I drove home, the invitation crumpled in my passenger seat. The next morning, a package arrived. Inside, a photo from the gala. Michael on stage, accepting some kind of award. A note was attached. "Wished you were here. The door is always open. I'd slammed my fist on the table, anger easier than admitting pain. How dare he? How dare he succeed without me? How dare he be gracious when I'd been cruel? But the anger was really at myself. I'd missed 5 years of his journey, 5 years of growth, success, challenges overcome. I'd chosen pride over my grandson, and now I was paying the price. I started ordering more from his website. Belts, briefcases, watch straps. Each package arrived with the same care, the same handwritten note. Did he know it was me? Patricia Chen wasn't exactly a subtle alias. My study filled with Chen luxury products, quality items that put some of my own imports to shame. Each piece a reminder of what I'd pushed away. Last week, everything changed. I'd been diagnosed with a heart condition, not immediately fatal, but a reminder that time was finite. The doctor had been blunt. Stress is a factor, Mr. Chen. Any unresolved issues you should address? Unresolved issues. If only he knew. That night I'd placed another order on Michael's website, but this time, in the special instructions field, I'd typed, "Michael, it's your grandfather. The real one. I've been ordering from you for months. Your products are exceptional. You've built something remarkable. I was wrong. About everything. William Chen." I'd expected silence. Maybe a refund. Certainly not what came next. The doorbell rang at 8 a.m. the following morning. I'd opened it to find Michael standing there holding a package. Older, more mature, wearing a suit that indeed cost more than his old Honda. But his eyes were the same. Kind, despite everything. "Grandpa," he'd said simply. "I thought I'd deliver this one personally." I'd stood there frozen. 5 years of rehearsed apologies vanished. "Michael, may I come in?" I'd stepped aside, letting him into the house he'd once visited every Sunday. He'd walked to my study, taking in the Chen luxury products displayed everywhere. "So you're Patricia Chen," he'd said with a small smile. I wondered. Not many Patricia Chens order exclusively men's products. "You knew?" I hoped. He'd set the package down. "I've been writing those thank you notes specifically for you, hoping one day you'd respond." "I'm sorry." The word exploded out of me. "I'm so sorry, Michael. I was wrong. About retail, about your dreams, about everything. You've built something incredible." "Grandpa." He'd held up a hand. "I didn't come for an apology." "Then why?" "Because you're my grandfather. Because despite everything, I learned from you. The attention to quality, the importance of relationships, the value of hard work, those came from you. Yes, you were wrong about retail, but you were right about excellence. I don't deserve your forgiveness. It's not about deserving." He'd pulled out a chair, sitting across from me like he used to as a child. "I spent years angry at you, hurt, determined to prove you wrong. But somewhere along the way, I realized I wasn't building this business to spite you. I was building it to honor what you taught me, just in my own way." "I missed everything," I'd said, my voice breaking. "Your success, your struggles, 5 years of your life, because of my stupid pride." "Then let's not miss any more." He'd reached into his jacket, pulling out another invitation. "We're opening a flagship store next month, right here in the city. I'd like you to be there. Not as William Chen, the man who built Chen Industries, but as my grandfather." "You'd want me there? After everything?" "The store is going to be at 1847 Madison Avenue." He'd smiled. "The old Chen Industries building, the one you sold when you retired. I bought it last year. Seemed fitting, bringing the Chen legacy full circle, just in a different way than you imagined." "My old building, the place where I'd built my empire, now home to his. The poetry of it wasn't lost on me. "How?" I'd whispered. "How can you forgive me so easily?" Michael had leaned back, considering. "Do you remember what you told me when I was 10? When I broke that Ming vase playing baseball in the house?" I'd nodded. That vase had been worth thousands, a family heirloom. "You said, 'Michael, we all make mistakes, but the Chen way is to learn from them and do better.' Then you taught me about kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. You said sometimes things are more beautiful for having been broken. You remember that?" "I remember everything, Grandpa, the good and the bad, and I chose to keep the good." He'd stood, straightening his suit. "The invitation stands. I hope you'll come." He'd turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and Grandpa? That business plan I left on your desk 5 years ago. Page 47 had a section about you, about how I hoped to make you proud someday. I never changed it. It's still there in every updated version." After he left, I'd sat in my study for hours, surrounded by the products he'd created. Quality items that honored our family name in ways I'd been too blind to see. I'd pulled out my laptop and found an interview he'd done with Entrepreneur magazine. "My biggest regret," he'd said in response to a question, "that my grandfather hasn't seen what I've built. He taught me everything about business, even if he doesn't realize it. Every decision I make, I ask myself, would this meet the Chen standard? Not his vision for me, but his standard of excellence." The flagship store opening was 3 weeks away. I marked it on my calendar in red ink. The first time I'd done that for anything related to Michael in 5 years. But I couldn't wait 3 weeks. The next day, I'd driven to the old building, now wrapped in black and gold banners announcing Chen Luxury Goods, coming soon. Workers were renovating, restoring the classic architecture I'd always loved. "Can I help you, sir?" A young woman with a clipboard had approached. I'm William Chen, Michael's grandfather." Her face had lit up. "Mr. Chen, Michael talks about you all the time. Would you like to see the progress?" She'd led me through the space, explaining Michael's vision. The main floor would showcase products, but there'd also be a craftsman's workshop where customers could watch items being made. The second floor would house a small museum of Chen family history, including Chen Industries. "Michael insisted on this section," she'd said, gesturing to architectural plans. "He wants to honor the family legacy. There's even a space reserved for your portrait." My portrait? In his store, after everything I'd said and done. "He's a remarkable young man," I'd managed. "The best boss I've ever had," she'd agreed. "Did you know he still works retail shifts? Once a month he's on the floor at different luxury stores, just to stay connected to customers. He says his grandfather taught him to never forget where you came from." I'd left that building with tears in my eyes. My grandson had become everything I'd wanted him to be. A successful businessman, a keeper of the family legacy, a man of principle. He'd just taken his own path to get there. The flagship store opened last month. I was there, front row, watching Michael cut the ribbon. The crowd was impressive. Business leaders, fashion editors, loyal customers who'd flown in just for the occasion. But when Michael spoke, he looked directly at me. "This store represents a dream that started on a retail floor," he'd said, "where I learned that every customer matters, every interaction counts, and excellence isn't about being above others. It's about serving them better. I want to thank everyone who believed in me, especially my grandfather, William Chen, who taught me that the Chen name stands for quality, integrity, and perseverance." The applause had been thunderous. People had turned to look at me, this old man crying in the front row. After the ceremony, Michael had introduced me to his team, his partners, his fiancée, a brilliant woman who ran her own tech startup. "This is my grandfather," he'd said simply, "the original entrepreneur in the family. Now, I visit the store every week. Sometimes I help out, not because Michael needs me, but because he allows me to be part of what he's built. I watch him. Interact with customers. See the respect his employees have for him. Witness the empire he's created from what I dismissed as failure. Last week, a young man came in, nervous, looking at wedding rings he clearly couldn't afford. I watched Michael spend an hour with him, eventually finding a beautiful piece within his budget. As the young man left, grateful and relieved, Michael had caught my eye. "Every customer matters," he'd said, echoing my own words from decades ago. "You taught me that." "No," I'd replied. "You taught me that. I just forgot for a while." The Chen legacy continues, stronger than ever. Not in the way I'd planned, but in the way it was meant to be. My grandson, the retail worker I'd rejected, had built something I never could. A business based not on pride or status, but on service, quality, and genuine human connection. And the most beautiful part? He'd included me in it, despite everything. Like Kintsugi, our relationship had been broken and repaired with something precious: forgiveness, understanding, and a love that transcended pride. To anyone watching who's been rejected for following your own path, keep going. Success isn't about meeting others' expectations, it's about exceeding your own. And to those who've done the rejecting, it's never too late to admit you were wrong. The door may still be open, waiting for you to walk through it. My grandson taught me that. My grandson, the retail worker. My grandson, the CEO. My grandson, my teacher. My grandson, my pride. Thank you for watching this deeply personal story. If it resonated with you, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. We're working hard to reach 1,000 subscribers, and every subscription helps us share more stories like this. Please hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever been underestimated because of your career choice? Or have you been the one doing the underestimating? We'd love to hear your experiences. The biggest lesson from my story is this: success has many faces, and the paths we fear for our loved ones might lead them to greatness we never imagined. Pride can blind us to potential, and prejudice about acceptable careers can cost us precious relationships. Remember, whether you're the one being doubted or the one doing the doubting, it's never too late to bridge that gap. Sometimes the most successful people are those who started at the bottom and worked their way up, learning every aspect of their business along the way. Don't let job titles or career paths define your relationships. Love and support should be unconditional, not based on whether someone's path matches your expectations. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.